are far more than you could ever imagine at the University of Maryland School of Medicine, always forging ahead the frontiers of medicine.
Now, instead of targeting a specific molecule on a tumor, you target its defense.
I would like to get the first drug approved to be able to reduce those side effects and improve the quality of life in cancer patients.
We are an incubator of innovation and discovery, where our faculty of physician scientists make life-saving breakthroughs.
And we're working in our laboratory with even more dramatic ways of keeping people alive without useful lungs.
We are the first to develop the treatments of tomorrow, making them immediately available to our patients.
Awesome new tools that can really save people's lives and give them hope when there isn't hope.
Every day at the School of Medicine, our faculty work to design the future of medicine, making the impossible a reality.
Young investigators are definitely the future of medicine. Our vivacious and energetic attitudes give us the drive to serve people and to come up with solutions to the problems that we face and hopefully to cure some diseases.
Today, our students are confronted with the frontiers of medicine, moving forward with accelerating momentum. To address this challenge, all first-year students now participate in research through a new innovative course, Foundations of Research and Critical Thinking.
So even though research would not necessarily be a part of everyone's practice or future, the ability to take a hypothesis all the way through to findings and knowing what to do with those findings in terms of clinical practice is very important.
Obviously, what we teach in this course is going to be important for the academic physician, the one who's going to be doing research. But it's probably just as important, if not more important, for the physician who's practicing out in Western Maryland or over on the Eastern Shore in isolation.
21st century physicians are going to face challenges never faced before, making the critical thinking skills they develop early in medical school essential to their careers.
A huge part of our medical career and also the career going forth is, doing your own research and making sure you know what's going on and what the side effects of certain medications are and what the new medications that are coming out for us.
You have to be prepared to continue your education and to research on your own as well as to participate in group research to know what's new and what's coming.
Recognized faculty accelerates the potential and pace for young innovators. For Dr. Craig Schneider, a postdoctoral fellow in Dr. Woodworth's lab, Molecular Imaging and Therapeutics, this means collaborating with a team to develop new systems of drug delivery for brain cancer.
So the idea is to use the opportunity of surgical intervention to introduce particles locally that you can specifically target to those invading cells. And so that's why also the size is so important, that you want the particles to be small enough so that they can go through this meshwork in the brain and actually track down the cancer cells.
The inspirational dedication of faculty to the next generation is evident day one through the residency programs.
So Dr. Griffith is, I think, the embodiment of a mentor. He is selfless, he is brilliant, and he is willing to offer all of those things to you as his trainee.
After I was diagnosed with cancer, I called my doctor. He told me that the best doctor he knew for what I had was back in Baltimore, and that it was Dr. Strom.
Hi, how are you doing?
Dr. Scott Strom, recognized internationally for his expertise on head and neck cancer, brings both extraordinary talent and compassion to the care of his patients.
And do you realize that today is the 1-year anniversary of my surgery?
You look amazing.
Yes,
I think you look better than you did when we started. How do you feel?
I'm doing really well, really well. Thank you.
The amazing thing is...
And he said, I'm going to get you well. And he said that with so much passion that I was sure.
It's a real privilege to be able to take care of people, and I think it makes it easier when they do well and harder when they don't do well. but I wouldn't want it any other way.
Not only recognized as an extraordinary clinician, Dr. Strom has also achieved national respect for his research. Through the creation of Glicnik, a biopharmaceutical company, he hopes to bring his innovative therapeutic interventions to thousands.
I knew that one of the pathways which we could make an impact as scientists was to develop drugs that would help people. And traditionally that had been anathema in academia, and in many circles it still is. But I believe that in order to make a difference, you truly have to be able to develop drugs and take them forward.
One of the first Glicnik initiatives focuses on developing GL-2045, a drug candidate to replace and improve pooled human intravenous immunoglobulin, which is used to treat autoimmune disease and cancer.
We've made, or think we've made, a recombinant molecule, meaning a molecule which can replace a drug called intravenous immunoglobulin. And intravenous immunoglobulin is a drug which is made of pooled serum from a huge number of patients. And for whatever reason, the antibodies that are present in that serum have been able to be a potent factor in treating autoimmune disease.
The predicted success and far-reaching application of Dr. Strom's research has led to a collaboration between Glicnik and a pharmaceutical company who will conduct the clinical trials.
This drug was just licensed by Pfizer, so we're working in combination with them to develop it, and which we think is very exciting.
There's so much good in this life.
More appreciative of life.
Appreciating a unique clinical perspective on life through his work with cancer patients, Dr. Strom continues his driving dedication to research and to his patients, knowing he has the potential to make a difference.
I'm really thankful that there's doctors like Dr. Strom, that they just don't stay in their little world, but they reach out and they have this thirst for knowledge and for doing good for people.
I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. I am thankful for Dr. Strom every single day of my life.
Good morning, Mr. Gagnon.
Good morning. Good to see you.
I'm Dr.
What they provided was a sense of professionalism and confidence in what they were doing that made me feel like I was getting the best care that was possible.
You were at the right place at the right time.
Oh, absolutely. Because everybody had one goal in mind, and that was to make me better, and I really did appreciate that.
And how are you doing now?
I'm doing fine.
In stroke, the motto is time is brain. With each second, with each minute, and certainly with each hour that passes, where a part of the brain is deprived of blood supply, that brain tissue is dying.
With stroke being the fourth leading cause of death and disability in the United States, it's one of the major health concerns and one of the most frightening and unpredictable causes of disability.
That being said, much research is going on to learn how to prevent damage to the brain in the first place due to a stroke, but also importantly, if a stroke has damaged the brain, how we can maximize a person's function.
An extraordinary, innovative breakthrough by our doctors involves the use of enhanced biorobotics for stroke rehabilitation. As a collaboration between the School of Medicine and the Veterans Affairs Maryland healthcare system, this research promises to revolutionize rehabilitation.
Dr. Macco and his colleagues have been very interested in helping patients following a stroke to maximize their capabilities. In a very excited way, looking at robots and how robots can assist in the rehabilitation process.
These robots, as directed by a computer program, work in synergy with the patient, sensing when the patient needs assistance to complete a movement. In this way, the rehabilitation is individualized and maximized, uniquely responsive, to a stroke patient's deficits.
Using this, what's called an impedance-controlled ankle robot that allows us to set individualized therapy goals for using the ankle, and it's a target because it's so important in walking and balance.
The realization of this personalized futuristic rehabilitation developed by the School of Medicine faculty provides a key to maximizing outcomes and greatly improved possibilities for function and recovery.
We will develop the adaptive controller to overlay into more complex mobility skills so that we can ultimately teach individuals how to get around in life better and increase their free living activity.
It's a time of hope, a time of promise, a time occasionally to slap ourselves on the back and hug our patients, and a time also to say, how do we tackle the next challenge? We're never done.
She was pretty close to death's door when she came to us.
The hospital I was at realized that they were no longer able to treat me. So I was rushed to University Hospital, where the doctors here recognized what was going on with me. My lungs failed.
We were able to save Judy's life with the use of an artificial lung machine known as ECMO. The likelihood Judy would have even survived that day without the use of ECMO would have been very small.
The idea was the same.
World-renowned heart-lung surgeon Bartley Griffith explains to Judy how her life was saved.
You could have enough oxygen put in that way that we could maintain you until your lungs got better.
Today, patients like Judy requiring life-sustaining lung support have to remain in the hospital. But Dr. Bartley Griffith hopes to transform their lives with a small portable breathing machine.
And of course, this very beautiful drawing,
Yes.
right, is some of the engineers' attempt to model what the forces on the blood would be as they get spun around in this artificial lung. And so much of what we've done in the last few years, Dr. Wu and I, has been to take that rather large machine and shrink it down to the size of a teacup. And we further wanted the teacup to be able to be shouldered or in a shoulder bag or worn on a belt with a little battery pack that you could put in a small wheeling suitcase that also contained oxygen.
This extraordinary innovation is made possible by a unique collaborative effort with a team of engineers.
Let me ask you a question. Is it
orchestrated by Dr. Griffith?
I mean, when I take some of the engineers on rounds, they don't want to go home because they finally see that their widget, if it were changed a little bit this way or that way, can make a huge difference in a patient. They live for that.
Like many other School of Medicine leaders in medical innovation, Dr. Griffith has expanded his multitude of roles. To make sure patients will benefit from his laboratory-based invention, he's personally taking it to the next step.
I used to think, oh, I don't want to ever be involved in a startup. But what we have learned is that if we don't do it, it's probably not going to be done. And so for us to actually execute on our passion, i.e. to create an ambulatory take-home lung, we've basically decided there's nobody better to do it than our team.
For Judy, a graduate student in the molecular medicine program at the University of Maryland, she most fully appreciates the research and dedication that saved her life.
It's really incredible everything that the University of Maryland, my team of doctors, were able to do for me to literally saved my life.
I would not be here if it wasn't for the research and the dedication of these scientists and doctors to come up with these different new techniques and push the boundaries of the science that we know. And someday in the future, I hope to be able to use the second chance that I have been given to advance science and to maybe one day make a difference in the field of medicine and research.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
How have you been?
I've been very well.
Good. Wonderful. Just really amazing to see her doing this well. It really makes everything worthwhile.